Okay, good evening, everybody. Let's go ahead and get started. Let me know if you guys can hear my audio and see my screen in the chat box. Just give me a little Y or a yes there, just to let me know that it is working. Hope everybody's had a fantastic evening so far. Hopefully your trading's been awesome. I'm looking forward to trading with you guys today. We got a lot of good stuff to talk about today in the COT report. We'll do a few updates with the COT report, but then we're going to spend a lot of time, especially towards the end, looking for new swing / overnight trades to take that we'll be posting in the Telegram chat. So kind of get through all of that stuff today or this evening, which will be really awesome. So that's kind of the agenda for this evening. And also just want to welcome everybody here. Anybody watching the recording as well, just want to say hello to you guys and welcome you to participate in any way that you can. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. As always, I need to remind you about the risks involved in this market. You can lose all or more than your initial investment if you're not careful. So please be aware of how many pips you're risking on each trade, in addition to how big your lot size is, and ultimately how that would affect your account if you were to lose money. So make sure that you're going through that process each and every time that you take a trade. All right, guys. So let's do this first. So if we pull up the cftc.gov website, here's what we're looking at. So as you guys know, or should know at this point, there was a cyber attack like a month ago, maybe 2 months ago at this point on the COT report. I guess not on the COT report. There was a couple of firms that report to the CFTC every Tuesday that were hacked. There was a cyber attack. And unfortunately, because of the misinformation and the lack of information that's been able to be transmitted to the CFTC, unfortunately, they have not been able to release the COT report in a timely manner to us. And so we at this point, and this is an update as of today, so this is actually pretty recent. The COT report has now been updated as far as February 17th, 2023. So we are still about a month behind, maybe 3 weeks behind on COT report data. So today we can go ahead and just update it and get it updated to where it needs to be. But as far as being able to successfully use the COT report to take future trades, we are still in a waiting game. And to say that this has been frustrating is an understatement. So it has been extremely frustrating. And I'm sure it has been for other people. Fortunately, our strategies don't rely only on the COT report, right? We trade a lot of different systems that have been keeping us rolling, right? We don't have to just have the COT report. We've got our sentiment index that we're using. We use supply demand concepts, which is free of any type of data, which is kind of nice. But obviously we use supply demand concepts in addition to the COT report, in addition to what we're using with the sentiment index. So yes, it would be helpful to have the COT report because yes, it's another reference. It gives us another edge. We're always trying to stack more edges in our favor and more things in our favor when we're trading. So yes, it has been very frustrating to not have this, but at the same time, we have been able to roll along normally, which has been nice. But with that in mind, let's go ahead and update this. So if you pull up my COT report journal, we have updated this last week. We did get January 31st. We are a little bit behind now, so I need to update this. So what I do, I've almost forgotten how to do this because it's been so long, but I just add another couple of rows up here. And then actually, if I just copy this whole thing, I think, actually, no. What we want to do is, here, let me actually do this instead. I'm just going to refresh my page. There we go. So what I'm going to do is we're just going to fill in new data for this week, right? There we go. And then we want to do this row as well. We want to fill that one in. And we want to get these guys. Perfect. And then I also want to grab this And let's put in a new date. Okay, perfect. And let me clear this out. So basically what I'm doing is I'm just making this look good so that we can fill in a new week's worth of data in here. Okay, so if I go back to the COT report, I want to find out where we left off at. So here's actually how you guys can, here's a quick little way to go check historical COT data. So if you go to historical viewable right here on the left side, you'll click on that and then you'll find the date that you're looking for. Right now, we've already filled in the 31st of January. This one is new, the 7th of February, so I can grab that one, which obviously is a month old, but I still want to fill it in just because I'm trying to track, my journal is designed to track this over a long term. In fact, one of the things I've been wanting to do with this data real quickly is plot this data on an actual chart. So you can click on a tab down here and it'll show you like how the Aussie's done historically over like a year's time. You know, where is the COT data right now relative to where it was a month ago, a year ago? That is going to help us so much more to take better trades. You're going to see, I've got a lot of cool things. As soon as I'm telling you guys, as soon as we get the rest of the COT report data updated, there are some really cool things that we're going to do with it. So hang tight for that because there's a lot of cool stuff that we're going to do. Like I said, fortunately, we have a lot of other stuff that we're doing in the meantime, but there are some really cool updates to the COT report that are going to be really tantalizing as soon as I can get up-to-date data on it. But okay, so you go to viewable, historical viewable, I clicked on the 7th, and now what I do is I go to the Chicago Mercantile Exchange short format, which is this one right here. And then I like to zoom in on it. And then I just do a Control F to the currency that I want to look at. So if I want to find the Aussie, I just go straight to it, AUD. And then as you guys know, we look at non-commercial data. And I'll explain what this is as I fill this out, but I'm just going to copy the long change and the short change and the change from week to week. I'm going to just copy this information over. Okay. So let me come over here. And I'm going to go ahead and put in, okay, actually, no, this is the leverage fund side. I'm glad I caught this. So I was about to ready to put this in. You can use this one. This is fine. It's basically going to give you the same information. But the one I like to use, sorry, is this one. It's the financial. So you can see I haven't done this in a while. That's why repetition is so important, right? If you do this every week, you're not going to mess up, right? But since we haven't had the data, it's been a little hard. Here I am just making excuses, right? Anyway, sorry about that. So here's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for this one right here. This is the one I like to use. Sorry. And I use leveraged funds, which honestly gives you the same information as the one I just showed you. But I like this one more because it's more of a holistic view of the market. Okay, so I like the leveraged fund side. So I'm going to zoom into this and I'm going to Control F and I'm going to search Aussie, which is here it is right here. And I'm going to plug these numbers in. This is what I want. Okay, now I'm going to pull this over. That looks much better. Okay, so I've got 13,007 contracts long, and I've got 25,253 short. And then I put in the change in contracts from the previous weeks, which I like to track because if you can find where they're changing and how quickly they're changing directions, you're going to trade so much better. And then I just search EUR for the euro, and then it takes me to the euro, and then I just go ahead and plug those numbers in. So I've got 73,795, and then I got 58,220, and then I got the change, which is minus 11,701, and then I've got minus 22,220. Perfect. So you can kind of see the inflows and outflows of positions with that last metric right there, which is kind of nice. And then I search the pound and I put in the pound information. So you guys can create this on your own or you can just use mine. So like I said, I'm just going to each currency currency, just grabbing the long side, short side, the change in positions, and then I just plug that into my journal here. Okay. So I've got 74,244, and I've got 45,540, and then I've got 18,417, 1679. Perfect. Okay, and then I put in the Kiwi, which is 12,663 and 9245. And I've got minus 411, minus 2623. Okay, 25,887, 37042. And then I've got 7535, 4023. So I kind of go through this quickly just because I do want to move on to the stuff that we want to do later. We've got a lot of cool trades to take. We also took some great trades this morning, which were really awesome. And ready to take some more trades like that tonight. So I want to kind of get into that. But like I said, I'm trying, one of the things, the reason why I do this too is because I think if you stop doing what you're, how do I say it? Like, I guess this is me not making an excuse. Just because the government hasn't gotten their act together doesn't, I don't want to stop doing this just because I have a hiccup, if that makes sense. Like, I know I've made plenty of money. A lot of you guys know I used to work for another company that gives people money to trade. I'm not going to say the name of the company, but yes, I used to work for, and some of you know which company I'm talking about. And I made most of the paychecks I got from my trading income specifically came from the COT report. So I don't want to give up because we've had a rough go recently because there has been money that I've made from this and my clients have made money from this before. And I've got a lot of cool plans. I've been doing a lot of extra research in the COT report recently on how to use this more effectively. I've actually looked at other people's journals who have made, who basically use the COT report as well. And I found some stuff that people track that I don't track that I want to start tracking. In addition to how I'm using it. Basically what a lot of people, here's what a lot of people do, especially one guy in particular that I found. One guy, what he's doing with the COT report is he is taking this data both from the commercial side and the non-commercial side. And then he sums those numbers together. And when he finds an extreme in both, in like, let's say non-commercial and commercial are at the highest point that they've ever had on the Aussie in say like a year or two. So if you go back, back in time and look at where that data's been in the last couple of years, and you find that you're at an extreme, say on the Aussie, that's actually an indication that a long-term reversal is on the horizon. Like it's going to happen soon. And he actually, on this video that I watched, he actually showed how successful that method is. It's pretty uncanny, actually. So basically, his concept was saying, well, if you think about it, if most people, if you've got non-commercial and commercial going in one direction all at the same time, and it's like at the highest open interest that they've ever had in say like 2 years, the chance of a reversal is extremely high because at some point these people are going to have to close their positions, and that's going to trigger a liquidity event in the market. Anyway, so that's my next project with the COT report. And in order for me to do that, I need to stay up with it. And I don't want to just stop doing something because, we ran into a hiccup. Just trying to be consistent, that's all. Okay, so now I just have to do this last one. So I've got all of these in. So, okay, real quick, how would you analyze this the normal way we trade the COT report? So 4 weeks ago, what we would have done is we would have said, okay, hey, look, the pound is extremely bought. It's the most bought currency. And then you would say, okay, look, the looks like the JPY was the most sold currency. And then you've got probably the Aussie is pretty sold as well. Euro is also pretty bought relative to other currencies. And then maybe say like the dollar. So your top 6 currencies would be something like, it would be something like this. You would just say, okay, probably pound dollar against, or pound against the yen, and that would be a long, right? Then it would be the pound against the Aussie, and that would also be a long. And this is all from 3 or 4 weeks ago. This would have been the signal. And then you do pound against dollar, also long. Then you'd have the euro against the yen, also long. And then euro against Aussie, also long. And then you would be euro against dollar, long. And that's your, those are your top 6 signals, like I said, from 4 weeks ago. They're not, doesn't matter anymore, but it's just interesting to see. Okay, so now what we'll do is go ahead and do this, copy this. And then let's see, can I just do this? Just copy this whole thing up. Perfect. And then change the state, delete these numbers, delete these numbers, delete these signals, and change this. Okay, and I like to double check that these signals, yeah. So I have all of this built in here, and I just want to make sure it looks good. Yeah, it looks fine. Okay, perfect. So now I can go back to the COT report, and I can go to their most recent report, which is, if you just go COT data, the most recent one they have is as of February 17th. So that should be just the one that's in here. So if I click on this, and you'll see, actually, they're saying it's as of the 14th. That's fine. And that makes sense because it's 7 days after the one that I just put in, right? Yeah, so that says February 7th right there. This is February 14th, so we're good. So now I pull this over and I can just basically do the same thing again. And then I'm up to date. I have all the data I need to move forward. And then we'll move on. We'll move on. Okay, so this is going to be 2/14/2023. Okay, so I've got on the Aussie, I've got 15,829, and I've got 26,210, and then the change was 2,822, and then 957. Got 79,092, and then a 57,684, and then I got 5,297 minus 536. Okay, 71,042, 42,087. Okay. 11,353 on the Kiwi, long, and then 9091. Okay, and then on the CAD, hopefully next week they've got the whole thing released. Wouldn't that be awesome? It was awesome that they got this. This one was released just today. It's so bizarre, guys, to be honest. Like, I've been saying this for weeks. I've never seen this in my life where they haven't been able to give us accurate data like this before. Never, 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 never seen this before. It's unprecedented, unprecedented. Never seen it. They've always been, and I've been using the COT report for, I don't know, 5 or 6 years. It's crazy. No, and I've never seen this. Okay. And then let me grab, but as you guys know, I haven't been able to take a COT report trade in like a month and a half just because I haven't had the data to be able to do it. But like I said, as you guys know, we're just trying to be consistent. We're filling in our journal as we get the data coming in, and as once it's up to date, we can rock and roll again. But I wouldn't take the signal just because of, I wouldn't take any trades right now. Because this is just an old signal. All right, the dollar's got 7047. Oops. 047 and 11 4 3 4. Okay. 266 and 349. Okay, perfect. And then for the top 6 trades, we'll just do the same thing again. Pull this up here. Let's see. Okay, so it looks like it would have been same thing, pound again, would have been the strongest currency, and then the second strongest would have been the euro, with the Kiwi as a close third. Those would have been the signals or the top currencies for the long side. For the short side, it looks like the CAD was the weakest for that week. So CAD, and then who's after that? Probably the franc was the weakest. And then the next weakest, it looks like, was the Aussie. So we'll come over here and then we'll just fill this in. So the number 1 currency to trade would have been the pound against, looks like the CAD long. And then you would have had the pound against the franc long. And then the pound against the Aussie long. And then the euro, CAD long, and then euro franc long, and euro Aussie long. Okay, that's it. Those would have been the top signals, I guess, 2 or 3 weeks ago. So where are we at? Let's look at the calendar here. So technically on Friday, they're going to owe us another COT report that would be dated March 7th. I don't even know if they'll have that. We'll see. And then they technically owe us a COT report. They owe us the 24th of February, which would be dated the 21st, and they would owe us the 28th. So they're still 2 weeks behind. And then if by Friday, they'll owe us 3 COT reports. So once we get, I guess if they gave us 2 today, I guess we're 2 behind today. But if Friday comes along, then they're going to owe us 3. Okay. So once we get all 3 of them, we can rock and roll again with the COT report. All right. So anyway, I just want to let you know that that's where we're updated. I mean, we're updated as far as just putting in the trades on what we've been given. And then when we get the 3rd COT report again, I will get back on my routine on filling this out on Saturday so that you guys can come in here and take these trades Monday morning, right? So basically what we were doing before, for those of you that are kind of new or watching this on the recording, what we were doing is I would give you this journal and you would bookmark this, okay? And then on Saturday sometime, I would jump in here, fill this out on my free time. And then on Sunday or Monday, you would go into your own trading platform. You would pull this up simultaneously. You would find these top 6 trades to take, and these would be your weekly trades. So you would hold these trades throughout the week, or you could look for better entries. So you could say, I want to buy the pound CAD, but only if it comes into a demand. If it comes into a demand, I'll buy it, something like that. And that was kind of the routine with this COT report journal. So I'm going to put this in the chat box for anybody that wants it. And if you're watching this on YouTube or someplace else, just comment down below if you're requesting this. You can also send me an email to steve@tradingwithsteve.com and I can send it to you that way. All right, guys. So there's that. All right. What else was I going to say? Okay, let's shift gears now away from the COT report. Let's talk about new trades. Let's start talking about our overnight and swing trades. Okay. So really cool thing. One of the things we talked about this morning, as you guys know, like I had a really good trading morning. I booked thousands of pips this morning, like 3 or 4,000 pips. And it was all from looking at, so I would go to the A1 trading sentiment index right here. And as you guys know, this guy's my friend, Trader Nick. You've probably seen him on YouTube. I just like saying it because he's pretty famous, I guess, in the Forex world. And I'm like, yeah, he's my friend, right? But this is his company. And I'm not affiliated other than this guy's my friend. And I like his stuff that he's put together. But I use this right here. And what I was doing, pretty much what I do with all of our trades, is I'll come in here to a sentiment index like this one, or IG's, or I might use a Wanda's sentiment index. I find out where retail sentiment is going. And then what I do is I use our supply demand concepts to find the specific entry. So if you want to put it in simple terms, this sentiment index is to tell you which direction to go and what pairs to trade. So two things. And then our supply demand concepts tells us where to do it. Okay. And then also where to take profit and all that kind of stuff. Right. So that's kind of the concept in a nutshell. So let me show you what I did this morning. As you guys know, I took a lot of different trades. I took a position on this Euro Aussie this morning long. I'm curious where it is now. I don't know where it's at this point, but let's take a look. Okay, yeah, so it's doing well. This morning the Euro Aussie was down here in this area. And I thought it was interesting because it was pulling back, okay, amidst the fact that 92% of retail traders, if you can see this here, let me zoom in. 92% of retail traders were short. And I'm like, if most people are short, okay, and most people are wrong, then this thing should go up. And I thought, well, great, this thing is pulling into a demand area while it's pulling in. So it's pulling into a demand area amidst a 90+% bias to the short side. I'm like, oh, this thing's probably going to pop up here soon, right? So I was looking for trades like that, if that makes sense. It's the same thing with as you guys know, I took a trade. This one never triggered, but we took a trade on this CAD Frank, right? We sold, or we had a sell ready to go last night up here. It was like in this general area, we had a sell ready to go. Never triggered, but it was a good trade idea at least. And what was going on is this market was starting to come up last night. And I was like, oh, this is perfect. It's coming up while most traders around the world are buying this. Okay. They're 90+% buyers, 95% buyers. So there's going to be an opportunity to send this market even lower, if that makes sense. Now, why is that? This is the thing I wanted you guys to think about this morning in the webinar that we had. I asked the question, this is the question I wanted you to think about. I said, if 90% of traders are long, what does every person that is long going to have to do at some point? Does anybody remember? Roger, were you there? I can't remember. Carlos, were you there? What does if 90% of traders, yes, that's it. That's the answer. So I said the question was, if 90% of traders are buyers, what is every single one of those people going to do eventually? And the answer, and Roger, you got it, is they're going to have to sell. That's exactly right. Okay. So I hope you were able to think about this a little bit this afternoon, because it really made me like think really deeply about the market in a lot of different ways. So and it's just so simple, right? But there's so much truth behind it. So if 90% of traders are buying something, at some point they're going to sell. Now, we don't know if they're going to sell at a profit or sell at a loss. Some of them will sell at a profit, some of them are a lot. We don't also know exactly where they bought. We just know at the current moment that there is, 90% are buying, right? So they're going to have to sell at some point. So think about this. With this trade last night, we knew that 90% of traders, 95% of traders were buying this. So if you're a buyer and you're being suffocated by this market that's just going down and down and down, and it just keeps going down, but you bought all the way up here and it's just going down and down and down. The moment this thing pops up and gives you just even that much breathing room, what do you think you're going to do? Oh, you're going to close. I don't care. You're going to be like, I know I'm losing, but at least I'm only losing this much instead of, I'm losing this much instead of this much, right? So that's exactly what happened last night, right? So these traders, so what we're saying is when you have so many people buying, that should be a trigger in your mind. That should be a trigger in your mind that at some point the market's going to like flip. No, or not flip. I guess what I'm trying to say is a better way to say this is there's going to be new supply. If there's so many, if 90% of traders are buying, there's going to be new supply added to the market, but there's only going to be so much demand to fill that. So like when you look at this here, look at it this way. Okay, with the USD CAD right now, 95% are short. Okay, if 95% of traders are short, that means there's only one buyer for 19 sellers. Okay, that's crazy. There's one buyer for 19 sellers. Okay. So what that tells us is that there's going to be a need for buys. Okay. There's going to be a need for buys because these people are going to have to get out at some point. They're going to have to buy at some point. And unfortunately, they're probably going to have to buy at a higher premium. Okay. They're going to have to buy at a higher premium because there's not enough people willing to sell, right? If that makes sense, because they're already sold, they're already selling, so they need somebody to take their opposite trade. And so in order to get somebody to take that opposite trade, it's going to be at a less favorable price for them. Okay, that's the concept. So with that in mind, now you can see why we're using supply and demand concepts to find different places to go ahead and take these trades, because we know that at some point we're going to get, a move in our favor if most people are biased this way or the other. Okay, hope that makes sense. Yeah, it does stink that that trade didn't execute. We're going to go ahead and try to find some more trades like that right now. So without further ado, let's jump into that. So let's go ahead and actually, I'm going to pull this to my other screen. Actually, no, I'll leave it up here just because we'll refer to it back and forth. So let's just start at trade number one. So we got Aussie Franc. So we'll go to that one first. If this market is, if I can't really find a structure point, I'm just going to skip it. And honestly, what I'm actually looking for is something like this. I'm looking for, I would like this thing to pull up to an area that we like, and then I look for a sell. So with this one, here, let me keep my pen close by. I'll write this down. So with this one, I'm looking for, I guess this is some structure right here. Yeah, you can see the structure throughout this area. You can say, okay, well, what caused that break of structure? It's pretty much whatever occurred kind of in this area right here. So that could be a good area to sell. I also could use Sonar Lab. Yeah, sure enough, Sonar Lab's saying the same thing, that's supply right there. So we might actually take that trade. I'm actually going to just write it down and we'll come back. We'll leave our analysis there and we'll come back. But let's just, I want to blow through a lot of these real quick. So CAD Frank, we already looked at. I mean, I can see if there's another opportunity on it real quick. And then we'll, oh wow, look at this, it's so messy. So yeah, I guess there's some structure on this that we could potentially look at. Like right here, this is definitely a structure point. What caused that thing to break? There's actually a couple of areas. You could argue that maybe this is the last little supply area, or you could argue that maybe this is it right here. Let's see what SonarLab says. Yeah, SonarLab is saying it's this right here. So I might use that one as a selling spot. This might be an ideal selling spot right here. Okay. So yeah, in fact, I'll leave that one. I'm going to write that one down as an option. We could actually take quite a few trades tonight. I'm just trying to find one that I feel really comfortable with. Also, quick side note. Now, this isn't going to be 100%, but I just want to just something I've been thinking about when I look at this index. I've noticed, I don't know about you guys, but I've noticed that this is going to really tickle you guys. When a news event comes out, have you guys ever watched how often the market goes with retail sentiment at a news event? Like never. So if I know there's a bank statement, a rate statement coming out tomorrow, or there's like a unemployment news, it's almost like no matter what happens to the news event, the market's going to find a way to go against dumb money during that news event. So I don't know, they're going to try to find a way to spin it however they want to spin it. But I've just noticed I'm actually a lot more confident trading through news now. Like for example, I think Carlos, you texted me the other night with a good concern. He asked me like, hey, is this going to be should we trade the CAD because there's news on the CAD? And I think my response was like, oh, I think it'll be fine. In fact, it probably should go in the direction of our trade. And part of that's because I've seen that over and over again. If you follow retail sentiment, and if, for example, last night, most traders were long on the CAD, okay? And what did the CAD do instead? It got killed this morning, right? So it went in the opposite direction of what retail traders were thinking, even though the news event is kind of that thing that's up in the air. So often I'm finding that fundamentals will honestly just go in the same direction, or excuse me, fundamentals are often going in the opposite direction of what retail traders think. It's not 100%, just to make that clear, and a quick little disclaimer, but I have noticed it and I want you guys to pay attention to it too. So next time you see a news event, like for example, this Friday, we have non-farm payroll. Let's see where the dollar is in terms of retail sentiment. And my guess is that the dollar will move in the opposite direction of what retail traders are thinking. I would put money on it. Literally, I'll put money on it. So just an idea. That's exactly right. We've seen the dollar go up, Roger, because of some of the news events and Jerome Powell yesterday, and the CAD has been going down because of the news event this morning. And retail traders got it dead wrong. As you can see, they're dead wrong right here, right? Okay, so pretty cool stuff. All right, with this one, we definitely found an opportunity. We may take that trade if we can get into it. It's looking so bearish though. Real quick side note, this one's so bearish that I almost wonder if it won't even go up. Like it may actually just break this triangle right here and just go straight down. Like I wouldn't be surprised if you saw this thing just go straight downhill tonight. Like I could totally see that happening. But I don't know if I want to take that trade. I'd rather have it come up to a supply area and then we'll sell type of thing. But I'll still take a look at it. Okay, next one, Kiwi Frank. Sorry guys, I get really excited about this stuff. If you haven't noticed, I get really excited because it is exciting. You got a lot of cool stuff going on here. Okay, this is a trade we looked at earlier as a potential opportunity. Yeah, we might take that one too. Okay, I'll just move on to the next one. Aussie dollar is an opportunity to sell. Kind of sad I didn't sell right there this afternoon, but that's okay. Okay, I don't see anything here. I need structure I need a break of structure to work with. So I'm going to move on to the next one. Okay, the Kiwi is another option to sell, Kiwi dollar. But we just don't have a break of structure to work with. So other than, well, I guess you could argue that this is a structure point right there. Maybe I guess I'm just going to try to find better trades though, to be honest. So I'll probably skip that one. Okay, Aussie Kiwi. That was nice. Look at this one. This one this morning came up to here, or yesterday, came up right into this supply area, and then it started pulling right back. That's okay. But I don't really have a break of structure to work with other than this one would be perfect right here. So you can see this is perfect. This would be a great area to sell, like right there. Let's see what SonarLab says. Yep, that's exactly what SonarLab saying the same thing that we're saying, that's supply right there. So yeah, that would be a great trade, but that's got a kind of a ways to go. It's like 60 or 70 pips it's got to go, but that would be a great area to sell at. Okay, so interesting. I'm going to write it down just maybe as a maybe trade. Okay. All right, let's see what else. Pound franc as an option. Let's see here. Oh yeah, this is what I was saying. Like maybe if it came up into this area, something like this might be a good sell. Let's see what SonarLab says. Yeah, they're saying that that might be fine. But yeah, I would need it to come up kind of significantly. I would need it to come up to there to be like, oh yeah, I'll go ahead and take that. So yeah, I'll just write it down though. I'm seeing a lot of francs in here. Like long the franc, short anything, base with the quote as the franc. A lot of short positions that way. Okay, I'm probably okay. Let's see what I'll just look at a few others. Here's the pound dollar. Holy moly, that thing's crazy. Just getting killed. But I don't have really any structure to work with, so let's skip it. There's the Aussie yen. Could look at the Aussie yen. I just don't have a break to work with. Well, I mean, you could argue that it broke this support level right here, but I don't think it really broke. So, okay, so I mean, you could say that there might be some supply there, and there might be some supply here that you could work with. Let's see what SonarLab says. Then no, it doesn't like it. So good head and shoulders. Yeah, actually, Lee. This, this one could be one of those things that just, it doesn't need supply. It just goes straight down. Right. I see what you're saying. Like this could definitely just turn into something like this. Right. Where it's just an descending triangle with a head and shoulders right there. Like, yeah, I mean, it could just, floor could fall out tonight. The floor could just fall out on this pair. Totally. I mean, that's what the sentiment's telling us. So maybe, but I would like to see it come up to a supply area first, something like that. And then, if I could sell there, maybe I'd get into it. I'll write it down. I'll write it down. Okay. All right, next one. Yeah, euro dollar as well. There's a lot of really biased. There's a lot of retail. Let's just put it this way. There's a lot of really unhappy retail traders right now. So a lot of retail traders who are just getting their butts whooped. Margin call, whatever, it's all happening right here. These are traders that don't use stop losses. They just get whooped on these types of moves right here. Yeah, but I don't have structure to work with that one, so I'm going to skip it. Yeah, the euro franc, maybe. Yeah, this is kind of a confusing pair, to be honest. I don't know if I'd use this one. Okay. Oops. Okay. And now let's go take a look at, yeah, just maybe the NZD yen. This is probably the most I'll go, 60% that I'll consider. So 60% biased. Yeah, this one could actually reverse to the upside soon. Because it's actually closer to 50-50. And it's, wow, it's really at some support down here. That's historically held up. So I wouldn't be too interested in this one now. Okay, well, that's fine. So let's look at the other side. So we've looked at everything that's short opportunities, and I've written them down here so I can post them. Obviously the USD CAD is at the top of the list on the other side. So this one we're looking for buys now, right? We're looking for buy opportunities. It's going to be, let's put it this way. I mentioned this morning. The USD CAD is going to be so incredibly difficult to find a buy opportunity because I think honestly the dollar is the most bought currency right now, and the CAD is the most sold currency. So the disparity between the two is so oh my gosh, stark. So if you get an opportunity for this thing to pull back, people are watching this 24 hours a day ready to pounce, right? So yes, you do want to look for buys on the USD CAD right now, but it's just so incredibly hard to get to find that opportunity. I mean, look at the biggest pullback on here ever since that news was released by Jerome Powell. Like Jerome Powell comes out right here and just says, hey, we're going to keep raising rates. And so what's the reaction? Dollar goes up, right? And then this morning you have the Canadians, they're not going to raise their rates. That's just basically saying we're going to lower our rates if we're not going to raise them, whilst the rest of the world is raising their rates and they're not. That's just going to weaken your currency like you have no idea. So that's why the disparity between these two right now is probably the most stark difference. That's what you're looking at right here. So the biggest pullback we've had is this little thing right here. That's hardly a pullback, but that's the best opportunity you've had in the last 48 hours to buy this thing. That is it right there. That's all you've gotten. So that's what we're working with right now to get an opportunity to buy this thing. So where would our buys exist here? It's hard to say because it's just breaking structure after structure. Like maybe that's a structure point right there. It's hard to say. I mean, you could pull up Sonar Lab. And yeah, they're saying that, obviously if I could get a buy right here, guys, I would totally take it for sure. Like if I could get this market to come into here, I would totally buy that. But are you going to get a move big enough to buy there? I have no idea. I don't think so. I mean, it'd be really hard, but that would be an incredible buy if you could get that. So some of these extremely biased currency pairs are some of the hardest to trade. I like the ones that are still biased, but maybe not everybody's focused on it because there's a ton of eyes looking at the USD CAD right now. This may be the most traded currency pair at the moment, just because of what's going on between these two countries. And it's so close to home here, right? But yeah, I mean, yeah, if you could, I mean, even just a pullback, I mean, you can see just throughout the day here, a pullback, even just 2 bars, 3 bars, immediately back up, 2-bar pullback for 30 minutes and then immediately back up again, right? That's all you're seeing. So I might place a trade. I'll mark it, but honestly, because of how conservative I am with my entry, I don't even know if I'm going to get an entry because the only one I'm really secure about is if it came to right here. That's where I'd feel comfortable buying. And I just don't know if the market's got it in itself to come down that far. I think it would come down halfway and immediately just get bought right back up. So anyway, we'll see. Okay, next one. Euro Aussie, we'll look for buys too, right? This one, I had a really good buy this morning. But yeah, same thing. I just need to look for a good entry to do it. So look for, actually, this could be good. So here's a structure point right here, definitely structure. And the market broke it basically right here. And what broke it? It's basically whatever accumulation took place in here. Let's see what Sonar Lab says. Oh, they're not. Oh, let's see, 15 minutes not saying it. Let's see a 30. Nope. How about an hourly? Okay, yeah, they're saying actually it's more like that right there is what caused it. Okay. So yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, if it pulled back into there, I'd look for some buys. That might be a trade actually that I'd be interested in. So the Euro Aussie buy, but I need it to pull back a little bit and then we'll buy into it. Okay, cool. That could be a good one. Euro pound, as you guys know, we've been trying to find buys on here. Let's see if we can get a pullback on it first. This is actually not too bad. This is not too bad, guys. Yeah, so this is the trade from yesterday that never triggered. It might actually still be valid. This might still be valid, guys. And I might even just reiterate the trade rather than redoing it. Well, it might not actually be bad to buy now. Let's see what Sonolab's saying. They're saying, oh, interesting. They're saying that that's it. That's on a 15-minute though. Let's see what an hourly says. Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought this is more it right here. I thought this is the liquidity right here. So that's kind of what I'm thinking on the hourly. That's good, Roger. I might keep mine open too on the Euro pound. Exactly how I set it up last night. That one could still just be valid as is. But yeah, like there could definitely be some good buy opportunities even right now. But the real liquidity I want is right here, right? If you zoom in on this, you can see what I'm talking about. Here's a break of structure. Well, here's the structure, here's the break of it, and this is the liquidity that caused it. And so that's why I have a buy right there ready to go. So yeah, if we could get this market to dip into here, that would be a really good buy. It'd be a really, really good buy. Okay. So I might just keep that one. Let me actually write that down. Okay, that one's just a keeper. Okay. And then let's go see what else we have. And I'll start wrapping up, but I hope this is helpful, guys. So this is how I'm looking for trades. Like I'm trying to find liquidity based off of this information. So the franc yen would be another really good one if we could find an entry for a buy. Okay, good. And it's pulled back some this afternoon. So this is good. So that's what I'm saying. I don't like the ones that are at the top of the list or at the bottom of the list. A lot of the ones that are kind of like just a few spots off of the top or off the bottom are gold. They can be really gold. Dang, this would have been nice to enter into right there. Dang it. That's okay. But yeah, looking for buys on here would make sense. But I think for me, I like this area down here because whatever took place in here in this general area is what created this breakout of this structure right here. Okay. And Sonar Lab says the same thing that I'm saying, right? So yeah, this could be a really great trade actually. This one could be a really good one if we could get it to dip just a little bit more. Yeah. Okay. And we'll look at one or two more and then we'll move on. And then I'll get these posted. Euro CAD, that's the one I traded last night. I made a couple thousand pips on the Euro CAD last night doing the exact same thing. So I was looking for buys. Let's see if we can find a good buy on here. So basically last night, the market was in this demand right here, and I just picked up all of that this last night. Now I don't really want to, well, I want to buy, but I don't have a good place to do it. So what I like about the franc yen and the euro pound is these ones have already pulled back and the signal is still to buy. So you've got like a better buying price. Does that make sense? So with this one, yes, you want to find buys, but it's already so high. The opportunities kind of come and gone. But like this franc yen and the euro pound, here, where did the franc yen go? It's shoot, there it is. This one's pulled back a little bit, not a ton, but it's kind of coiling itself up, and this could turn into a really good buy actually. And the same thing is true with the euro pound. If this thing has pulled back a little bit like it has, but even if it could get it to pull back even more into this area, that's just gold. That is just a gold trade. Absolutely perfect trade if you could get it to pull back into there. Because what we have here is tons of traders, tons and tons of traders. For every trader that's buying, there's like 9 other traders selling. So you know that those traders are going to have to buy at some point. And so they're going to get trapped most likely. And so you're looking for liquidity where that's likely to take place. And so we know that this is a pretty good area to do it if we can get it in the market to pull into there. Okay, anyway, I've talked a lot. Let me see if I can find one more. And then I'll go ahead and start posting some of these. The euro yen. Let's see about the euro yen. Oh, cool. Actually, cool. So yeah, look at the euro yen over here. So 69% short and 31% long. What is that? So like for every I don't know the numbers. I'm late, but it's biased, right? It's for every 100 traders, 69 of them are short and 31 are long. So that's really good. And the fact that this is pulled back into here means we could have a good buy opportunity. Okay. Where's the best place to do this? Maybe right now even. I'm trying to think. Maybe down here. Who knows? I'll try to find an opportunity on this one. I like some of these others better, so I'll probably go with those. But anyway, this is kind of what you're looking for. All right, guys, I'll go ahead and post these. Yeah, 2-to-1. That's the right numbers we were talking about, Lee. I'll go ahead and post several of these, and I'm probably just going to keep the euro pound active. I think that one's worth keeping open. And then maybe I'll post 1 or 2 of these that I really like, and we'll just go from there. But other than that, guys, really appreciate your attendance today. Thanks for coming with me late, and hopefully we see some of you guys tomorrow morning. So thanks for coming, and we'll see you in the next webinar.